Hey, this is Tom Challan with PriorityTeam.com. And over the last 16 years, I've always had this incredible curiosity of why people struggle in a home-based business, including me for the first 3 years, and why people have wild success right out of the gate. Or why do people struggle for a long period of time in a home-based business? And then the other question is, why do people stick it out, and why do some people quit? And I finally, after 16 years, coaching hundreds of people over the last couple years, really started to find that answer of why people struggle in a home-based business, and of course what ultimately leads a lot of them to quit. And it's what I call junk in the trunk. It's the stuff that they've built up over the last 5 years of their life. Bad habits, maybe the last 10 years, 20 years, and for some people 30 and 40 and 50 years, people have done things their way. And they built up certain good habits, but unfortunately, certain bad habits. And the worst part about it is your brand new prospects don't know about it, or maybe even you. You don't know you have these bad habits. So that's why coaching, and that's why learning and growing and reading books and seminars and videos was so vital to me when I first got involved in a home-based business. So I'm going to do a video series over the next few weeks, and I'm going to expose a lot of these habits, hindrances that prevent you from reaching to that next level, learning how to recruit more people, have more duplication in your home-based business, but also understand how it works when it comes to bringing brand new people into your business and really understanding what they're going through. It's not about, teaching them the perfect words sometimes. There's a lot of other root issues that people in your business that you bring in are having. That's why when you bring in 10 people into your home-based business, you may have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 do something, and then the other ones that have all the talent in the world seem like they have the desire, it seems like they have the people skills, they're not going anywhere, they're spinning their wheels. So I'm going to break this down, and I'm going to expose what happens, whether it's for your team members, but also for you, and of course me too. I go through a lot of this stuff, and this is the stuff for the last 16 years that I've been chipping away at and still chipping away at this junk in the trunk, these roadblocks that I'm going to expose right now. And I've got some notes here because I wanted to do this off the cuff, but it's so valuable. The first hindrance that I'm going to break down in this video is the difference between people skills and people skills specifically for prospecting someone over the phone or in person. Because there is a difference that I've learned when being in the recruiting business for years. And here's the difference. And I was thinking about this and doing a lot of one-on-one coachings with a lot of my clients who have pretty good people skills, but they're still not enrolling people. And then the tough question that I used to ask them and think about is, if you don't have, and I'll just direct this to you, if you don't have these people skills for prospecting, you're probably not going to enroll that many people, if not no one. You're not going to enroll anybody if you don't have these people skills for prospecting. Because you may have good people skills with your family or your friends or co-workers, which is good. But there's a different psychology from meeting someone through advertisement, through a social media, through buying some advertising or leads or prospects, or however you're prospecting someone that you don't know right now. There's a different psychology and an art to enrolling that person, to getting them to like you, to getting them to trust you, and to ultimately bringing them into your home-based business. And so here, let me give you an example of the difference when you're prospecting, let's say over the phone. And the difference between asking a good question and a genuinely, in fact, I wrote this down. Here's what it boils down to. Not just a genuinely curious, natural, good question. I know that's a mouthful and it's probably not even good English, but it does make sense, and let me explain why. So let me just give you an example to start off. So a lot of my clients, they'll ask good questions. As an example, so what do you do for a living, Mary? And I remember this one call where Mary says, that she is a acupunctural therapist for animals. And I was listening to this recording of my client, and they just said, "Oh wow, how long have you been doing that?" That's a pretty good question, right? How long have you been doing that? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that question, but pause just for a second. What would be a better natural, genuine, or curious, naturally good, genuinely curious, natural question? Okay, it's a mouthful, I know. What would be another thing that you could say to really build that rapport and really get them to like and trust you? Here's what you could say. So an animal what in the world does an animal acupuncturist do? Well, and she started going on and going into detail about what it does and how it's different than being a regular person that helps animals. I don't remember the exact situation, and then the next natural, generally curious question that you could ask is now, did you get special training to do that, or is that something you're able to learn on your own? See, part of building rapport is going deep with the client. In fact, another analogy that I have, I'm going to show you how to kill 4 birds with 1 stone by asking these naturally, genuinely curious questions. Okay, see, what that does by asking those questions is, number 1, it helps you qualify that prospect. See, by asking the right, good questions, genuinely curious questions, you're going to find out, is that person, first off, are they even qualified for your time or not? Because immediately, if they're not, you want to get them out of your life. You want to get off the phone as fast as possible and save your energy and your time for the most qualified prospects, because you only have so much time in a day to find the right people that are qualified for your business. So when you're asking these questions, you've got to become good at the art of discerning and listening like a detective. Is this person qualified enough for your time? That's the first thing.